Hi, everyone. This is Annie Lareau. I'm the Artistic Director at Seattle Public Theater. Today, joining me is Alma Davenport, the co-artistic director of Brownsville Productions. And Brownsville Productions is part of the Hue Festival that is opening next week. Oh my goodness, so soon. So welcome. Welcome for joining, and thanks for joining us.
Hi. Of course. It's good to be here with you.
Good. So tell us a little bit about yourself and what brought you to Seattle, if you're from here, like just your history with this city.
Okay. So originally I'm from the East Coast. I'm from Washington, D.C., born and raised. I lived in New York for a lot of years, moved back to D.C., met the man who is now my husband, moved out here because of Microsoft, just like I guess everybody else, right? And everybody else who's not from here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, so that's pretty much how I got to Seattle. I have to say, the other day I was telling him that yeah, this city has really grown on me a lot. It's very different from the East Coast, but it's great in its own way. It has like a lot of really cool things about it. So
Awesome. And tell us a little bit about Brownsville Productions and how it came about and a little bit about it for those who don't know.
Yeah. So, okay. BSP was founded back in 2016. I have to tell you the before story before we founded it.
Yeah.
Okay. So earlier that year, I have a good friend of mine who's a writer and a producer, and she's actually like a prolific writer and a really talented producer. And we worked on converting a book that she wrote into a play, and she wanted to produce it. And it had always been my dream to produce, like ever since I was like a kid going to NYU at 18. I've always wanted to do that, but I was always afraid. It's really daunting to put on a producer hat and say, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna, grab the bull by the horns and I'm gonna run the show and like get everything together. Because theater is expensive. You have a lot of personalities. It's just it can be a lot. And I I mean, Annie, better.
I know.
And and I was just afraid to do it, and I had never done it, but I got to work with her and I got to see pretty much like how she just pretty much just knocked it out. Like she did it. And I was in this process with her, and I was like, and it's something that I've always wanted to do, like with my life. And I'm like, all right, if we did this here, like on this scale, then this is something I can do. I think it's there's something to be said about proving it to yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That like you can actually do the thing that's in your heart to do. And maybe you have to take baby steps along the way to like do it. But yeah, so that was something that I had to prove to me. So later that year, I had a play that we were going to produce together. But she had like kids going to college and like a lot of stuff was happening at the time. And I thought, I really just want to get this out of my system and I just want to just do it. So I had a play that I had just kind of sitting around, kind of collecting dust. And I said, you know what, I'll just go ahead and self-produce this just to like get this one out of the way and just see how it goes. And that's pretty much what happened. And it actually did pretty well. Like, it was well attended. People showed up for it. People liked it. The cast was happy to be a part of it. It was awesome. And I learned a lot from that process. And during that process, Brownsville Productions was kind of formed around that time because there was a woman in the cast who said that she'd always wanted to write plays, but nobody would really give her the time of day because she wasn't a trained playwright. She didn't have like a background, in it, didn't have like those theater connections that she needed to do it. And, my whole background is in playwriting, and, that's what my undergraduate education is in. So I just thought, I can help her develop the script and tell the story of her life and get this story off of her chest that she's been trying to tell.
Mm.
And I can do this for her. I can help do this for her. I can help do this with other people. And it started like from that seed, and then it grew into like, all this other stuff that we're doing now. But that was 2016, and that's that story. I know that took a long time for me to say, but
No, it's good.
that was.
And you guys took over recently, actually right before COVID, the old Slate Theater. Is that correct? The space?
Yeah. So I like to say we're the stewards of the Slate Theater.
Got it.
Because it was already there. It's a Seattle institution. People know it. As the Slate. So we just kind of moved in to help. I guess what our job from the universe was to get it through COVID, which we did. But
And so if someone wants to find out more about it, or like maybe sign up for a class, or do they just go to your website?
Absolutely. Yep. You would go to brownsoulproductions.org.
Great.
And you can learn more about the Slate at slatetheater.com.
Great.
And yeah.
Awesome. And it should be said that if people want to donate to Brownsville Productions, which I really do, you can also go to that website and donate directly to them at brownsvilleproductions.org.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, yes, you can. So, Alma, we've been talking now for like, I don't know how many months, 9-10 months about the Hue Festival. What has become the Hue Festival? Probably that
been 9 months,
maybe.
Wow.
Something like that. Close. And now it's happening. And so Brownsville Productions, for those of you who don't know, we first came together about this idea of putting together a festival, and then Hansberry Project came aboard. And so now it's a sort of 3-company festival, which I know, I hope, and I think you do, and Valerie too, that this is something that is ongoing into the future, and then possibly in person, and really an opportunity to highlight BIPOC local voices in our community, and really give them a platform to be seen and heard and hopefully produced, and just to raise the profile of the work, the incredible work that is being done here, that some people just haven't been given the opportunity to hear and see and experience. Tell me what your hope is for the Hue Festival, like what makes you excited about it?
You know what? So many things. When you just started talking about the just the future of like having it in person, and like us being at the theater again, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, something in me just kind of went, ooh, yeah, right? Because like when I walk into a theater, when I walk into an empty theater, like that's where I feel like I'm at home. For me, I walk in and I just kind of go, oh, like the smells of it, like the darkness, the coolness of it, all of it. But to I guess expand on what you were saying, just like my overall hope, I would love to see the Hue Festival become like a stepping stone for playwrights, BIPOC playwrights, who are about to enter the canon. Who are about to enter the canon, and who will, leave a lasting impression for generations of people to come, even by telling stories that are close to home, authentic to them, not necessarily curated by like I don't know, like a board of like white people per se, but just being able to just tell their story, and tell it in a way that that's just authentic to them, without having to worry about somebody going, oh, this isn't important enough, or this is whatever enough. Like it can just be, and be good, but just be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
And I would love to just hear your thoughts on like what you hope for the whole Seattle theater community at large, like what your hopes and dreams are when we are reopening and in those theaters and those, dark spaces, but warm spaces, emotional spaces for
You
the
know what?
community.
I really hope, but I also believe
Mhm,
that we can be okay. Like 2020 was a hell of a year. It
mhm,
was really, really rough for people on so many different levels, especially like people, well, no, not especially anything. It was hard for people on so many levels. It was also hard for, these small nonprofit arts communities, big and small
mhm.
nonprofit arts organizations to even like survive, and the fact that we're even still here having a conversation about a thing that we're doing um, online, that's the funny thing about it. Like theater will make a way, like
Yeah,
it's been around since what, the ancient Greeks, right? It's still
yeah.
here. So that tells me it's not going to go anywhere per se, but it hasn't been easy. I just want I just want us to continue to thrive and find ways, keep finding ways to innovate, keep finding ways to think outside of the box, keep finding ways to make art, finding ways and opportunities to make art, to build community, um, and to really be able to hear each other and to be able to humanize
Mm,
each other, in a real like non-bullshit kind of way.
mhm. I love it. Non bullshit kind of way. Love it. Well, thank you for joining me today. And everyone out there, please check out the Hue Festival. It starts next week on Wednesday and runs through the 19th. 4 incredible plays by local, in this case, Black female playwrights. Powerful pieces. I've heard them all, and I'm really excited for the community at large to hear them. And check out Brown Soul Productions. And yeah, thanks for joining me, Alma.
All right. Thanks,
All right.
Annie. It was good seeing you.
Good seeing you too.